Hi guys, how's it going? Happy Wednesday. Yes, it's hump day. It's Wednesday. Welcome. Good to see we have a great crowd here. All right. Let me get through the announcements and we'll get going. Okay, of course. Hey, how you doing, Patrick? Good to see y'all. All right, I wanted to let you guys know this past weekend was the Micho State Park campout, and unfortunately, I was not feeling up to be able to go. I couldn't go. There were various factors, but we have another campout coming up in June. That's June 19th through the 22nd. That will be in the Allegheny National Forest. And if you want to know if you're going to go, join the group on Facebook, Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. All the details will be in there in the events section. It's June 19th through the 22nd, and that's in the Allegheny National Forest. The exact location, the exact campground information is in the group in the events section. Let's see, and let me go through here. Okay. Order your official Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project merchandise directly from me if you want. We have, of course, my book. Gotta hawk that. I don't do it often enough, I know. T-shirts, hoodies, all kinds of stuff. And our guest also has written 2 books, so make sure you get the information on how to order his books. Let's see. I will be speaking at the Forest County Bigfoot Festival. The festival is in Marionville, Pennsylvania. That's also in the Allegheny National Forest. That's June 6, 7, and 8. I will be speaking on the 7th. That's Saturday at 11 a.m. The schedule for all the speakers and their times is in the group also. Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. Let's see, there's more festivals and conferences, but I'm not going to go through them. Not going to happen. And also, guys, as always, if you have a prayer request, you don't need to specify what the prayer request is. Just comment that you're asking for prayer, and we'll put you in our prayer chain. And let's see. Other than that, let me get over to. All right, our special guest this evening is Fred Saluga. If you are not familiar with Fred Saluga, you should be. But if not, Fred has been investigating Bigfoot, UFOs, and other paranormal phenomena for over 50 years. He is a licensed private investigator in the states of, West Virginia, Florida, and Pennsylvania, and a retired law enforcement officer and chief of police in the Fayette County, Pennsylvania. He currently serves as the state director for MUFON, that's a mutual UFO network in West Virginia, and the assistant state director of MUFON in Pennsylvania. Fred has investigated over 500 UFO cases and established MUFON's Humanoid Research Group, which oversees the investigation of humanoid beings reported as UFO occupants. He was the co-host of a Comcast presentation that lasted for 3 years and produced television shows called UFOs Over Pittsburgh, and now a podcast called String Theory, 40 Movies on YouTube. He is also concurrently serving as the director of the West Virginia Center for Unexplained Events, an organization dedicated to investigating sightings of Bigfoot, cryptids, ghosts, and other anomalous entities. He is the director of the Fayette County, Pennsylvania Bigfoot Research Project, headquartered in wonderful Uniontown, Pennsylvania. That is in Fayette, Pennsylvania. Hey, Fred. Well,
how are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay. Hey, you got to look at it. My light just went out right before I come on the damn computer, so I got a little light here. That's why it's dark in here.
Okay. Well, we can see you. We can make out your face.
That's all. Well, I can take my hat off.
There you go. All right.
Well, thanks for the introduction. I mean, that's pretty good. Only thing is the cryptid unit with MUFON, they stopped that. They just banned it.
Oh, okay.
MUFON does not believe in Bigfoot.
They don't.
They think he's a woo.
Really? Well, Fred, why don't you go over a little bit of your background besides what I've already introduced, and talk about some of your adventures and what you're into.
Okay, well, I actually, I'm 76 years old, all right? And I'm going to start off with this. I'm 76. I got severe COPD. I got congestive heart failure. And recently I punctured a lung, almost died. Half hour I had to live, and they did emergency surgery on me. And I'm still going in the woods. I mean, I will say that. I mean, I will do that until the day I die. I'll probably die in the woods.
God bless you.
And I started out back when I was actually about 9 or 10 years old. I used to live in a town called Elliston, Pennsylvania, Billy Goat Hill. And we had a Bigfoot running around there back then. And we used to hear him scream and that, and he used to chase people. And, you know, being 9 years old, man, you're really, you know, wow, scared the hell out of me.
Yeah.
But I really started getting into it at that time. So from 9 years old, and then when I got into high school, you know, we did the same thing, and you know, we played around with Bigfoot, ghosts, and like everybody else. And I became a cop. Well, I got married. Let that go with that. And I think sometimes she was Bigfoot. But anyhow, one thing you know about me, Mary, I say what the hell I want to say. You know. Anyhow, she really wasn't into all of that. And unless I became a cop, and then I got divorced. But what really got me back into it was one night when I was a cop, and me and another officer had a date at 11 o'clock. It was 10:30. And we snowing really bad, and looking forward to what was going. And we get a burglary in progress. All right. And we're looking at it like, what the hell? That's the state police handle it. No, you guys got to handle it. So we go down to the house, and we can tell nobody's in the house because there was no footprints or nothing outside. Knock on the door. This old Italian lady answers the door. I know her from Sons of Italy down in Brownsville. And I said, what's the matter? She said, excuse the language, you know. She said, the son of a bitch a day up the stairs. Go get him. I'm like, what the hell is this woman talking about? So we go up where she said, and we go, there's nothing up there. So we come down, and we're down there, and we hear noise upstairs, me and my partner. I mean, it would sound like somebody dancing up there and talking. And I looked at him, and he looked at me, and we took our guns out and ran upstairs. I don't know why we took our guns out, you know, but we took them out. We didn't see nothing up there. Come back down, and I said, can I ask you what the hell's going on? I said, there's nothing up there. She'll never forget it. She looked at me and said, they got them a ghost to get them out of my house now. I said, ma'am, they never taught us anything about ghosts in the police academy. Sorry about that. But we left. So he told me, he said, well, Fred, he says, you're not going to put this down in the police report, are you? I said, yeah, we got to. We can't lie on a report. I mean, what the hell? Ghost is ghost. I mean, So we did the police report. And then about, I'd say 3 weeks later, I'm getting ready to get off. And it says, 57, where are you at? And what time are you getting off tonight? I said, I'm getting off at 11. Can you come up here to Fair Chance? I said, for what? We got a Bigfoot report. You're the paranormal cop down here now. Excuse me? So I became the paranormal cop. I'm the one that done all the paranormal investigations down in Fayette County. This lasted for about 4 or 5 years. And I mean, we did really, it wasn't like it's now.
Yeah.
Back then it was really investigation. I mean, we went out and looked. Everybody worked with each other. Nobody backstabbed each other. Nobody talked shit on each other. We all did our thing.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Florida. So I stayed down there I was down there for almost 19 years. Did a lot of ghost research down there and cryptid research. Never did too much Bigfoot down there. And then I moved back up here, and it was back in 2002. In 1973, the time that Stan Gordon was running rampant. Matter of fact, he gave a presentation the other day at Butler.
Yeah.
He told us all about 1973. So we only got like 60 more years, and we could get caught up with him. I mean, I'll leave it go with that. I came back up, and I don't know if anybody knows Eric Altman.
Yeah.
Okay, Eric Altman was running his paranormal group at that time, Pennsylvania Bigfoot Society.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a thing up in Jeanette, a conference up in Jeanette. And I went over and I said, hey, man, I says, can I join your group? And he looked at me like, put his chest out. And, well, I don't know. You're going to have to do this and do this and do that and do this and do that and do this and do that. And I mean, I'm feeling like I'm a little child here. You know what I mean? And he kept it up. I mean, and he's getting a big kick out of it, So again, here I go. I'm Fred Saluga. I said, well, I'll tell you what, man, I don't have to join your group. When your mother was wiping your ass, I was out hunting Bigfoot. I'll do my own thing. Well, he never liked me after that. So that was the end of that. But I was in a PA Bigfoot Society for about, I'd say 7 or 8 years. And but when I moved back up to PA, I really started out heavy. Started doing things with Brian, Brian Seach.
Yeah.
Me and Brian do quite a bit of things together. And actually, we're having a paranormal conference down in Brooke County. I think it's on the 17th, Saturday the 17th.
Okay.
We got like 5 speakers. It's free. I mean, people can come bring their children. We try to do that. So people can bring their kids. We don't charge no money.
Nice. Now that's Brooke County, West Virginia.
Yeah, that'll be down in Wellsburg.
Okay.
Wellsburg, West Virginia, Brooke County Park. And like I said, we're having it down there. But me and him do quite a bit of stuff together. And you also know Danny, my other road dog.
Yeah.
They say Danny with the white hair. That's how they call him.
Oh.
But so like I said, we've been going out quite a bit. Matter of fact, we was out the other day, and we ran into a park ranger after dark, which you're not supposed to be in a park at this time.
Yeah.
And in Blair County, it's what the hell county? Brook.
Yeah.
Brook County.
Yeah. I guess this Kurt, he's asking if they can have a Blair County paranormal paracon or something. He says, I love Brian Seach and both of you all saviors.
Well, thank you. And but anyhow, so we started coming down here. Brian moved down here about 2 years ago and really getting a lot of stuff going on down here. But getting back to Uniontown, Vietnam, I started the Fayette County, Pennsylvania Bigfoot Research Project about 10 years ago. And we do also down here, we do conferences for nothing. We don't charge nobody nothing. You can come bring your kids. And that's one of the main reasons we do it. Excuse me. The COPD kicks in. You know what happens.
Yeah.
And, you know, like say, for example, now you go to one of these things, it's $20. You got 3 kids, that's $60 just for the kids, 80 and 100. People can't afford that today. So
No.
we figure if we don't charge them, they'll buy stuff off the vendors.
Right.
And they can make money that way.
Yeah.
You know, so everybody comes around and good. So we've had about 20 now conferences. This year don't look good. There's so many damn conferences going on now. Every week there's a conference somewhere. Yeah. And I mean, you know, and people are just tired of it. I mean, I was up at Butler this weekend, and the vendors up there said nobody was buying nothing. I mean, it was like, you know, so, and I've seen that. I mean, I've seen that been going on now everywhere we go. I mean, nobody's buying nothing.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, it's hard enough to pay $20 to get into somewhere, and then you can't buy nothing. So, but we're trying to have one down at Patsy Hillman Park and one in Greene County, if we can get it done this year.
Oh.
Okay. So other than that, like I said, I do a lot of Bigfoot research. I do a lot of, okay, we'll talk UFOs. All right. I got into UFOs when I was a child. I had an uncle that was into UFOs, and he would come home and start talking about UFOs back in the 1960s, 50s, and 60s. And that's when I really started getting interested in it. So when I moved to Florida back in 1990, I used to go to a big UFO meeting down in, oh, hell. You know, when you're trying to think, you can't think.
I know.
Down by Cape Kennedy. And the guy, Joe Joseph, was the state section director down there at the time. And he said, why don't you just join and you can take over Daytona and New Smyrna Beach and all of that. And I don't want to. So I joined. The next thing I know, I became the state section director. I had the whole panhandle. And I used to get cases out there like you wouldn't believe. And then I moved back up here. And John Ventry, we all know John.
Yeah.
John was the state director for MUFON up here, and I talked to him, and I became the assistant. Well, I became a state section director at the time. And then about a year later, I became the state section director. And then that's when I was living in, moved to West Virginia. And then he said, well, why don't you just take West Virginia over? So I became the state director in West Virginia, and I was called the regional director in Pennsylvania because I did Pennsylvania and other states. And I did that for about 4 or 5 years. And then John got in a little bit of trouble and had to leave MUFON. And they made me the state director in Pennsylvania. So here I am, the state director in Pennsylvania, and the state director in West Virginia. And they really didn't want me as state director in Pennsylvania because, as I say what I got to say, and I don't really give a damn.
Yes.
You know, they needed somebody that was a little bit more what you call it. So they removed me and they put somebody else in, and he lasted, I think, about 2 weeks. So they put me back in. And then I was there for about a year, and then John Dorsett, he was our chief investigator. He took over, and John now, he's still the state director. So when they made John the state director, they said, well, who do you want as your assistant state director? Fred? No. Fred can't be my assistant state director, and I'm not the state director. So we got a good working relationship. All right. So now they just made me the Eastern Regional Director, which I actually got 8 states under me now.
Oh, my goodness.
And that's kind of hard when you're kind of sick. I was in the hospital the other day, and I missed a meeting, and, you know, but, you know, I got an abduction case I got to do tomorrow. And I got an appointment with a doctor tomorrow for my lungs. You know my lung problem. Yeah. When I punctured my lung. Yeah. You heard that story, right? Yes. Yeah. And they said I had a half hour to live. Yeah. I told the doctor more or less he was crazy. Oh, no, I ain't. And I was in the hospital for 2 months with that. But I got to go see them. And like I said, I got to do that tomorrow. But I do on an average of maybe, I don't do that many cases anymore because I'm still overseeing everything, you know? So, and,
Yeah, we've got a question.
How close have you gotten to UFO ever since? Okay, let me tell you a story here. Okay. When I moved back from Florida, I seen a friend of mine, a lady that used to live by me. And my daughter and I was riding down the road and we seen her. And I said, God, I ain't seen her for 20 years. So we stopped to talk to her. And I had a MUFON hat on. And she said, well, what is that? I said, MUFON. And she said, what is that? I said, UFOs. Oh my God. She said, I can tell you now. I said, tell me what? She said, Big Angeline said she kicked my ass if I ever told you. I said, tell me what, Marion? She said, you was abducted by a UFO when you was 4. And she goes on to tell me the whole story. She said, my grandparents raised me. So she said, your grandparents were up there crying. The police was up there. The military was up there. And they couldn't find you. They was looking for you for like 3 hours. They couldn't find you. And then they found you sleeping in bed where they went there 4 or 5 times and you wasn't there.
Wow.
And I went, I'm sitting there like, wow. I mean, she was drinking some Mogan David wine. I mean, something, well. And she said, I said, Marion, come on. She said, well, my brother will tell you the same story. He works down in D.C. for a congressman. Mm-hmm. And she said, I'll tell him. I said, Marion, you're going to tell him exactly what the hell to say. Don't give me that. I'll go to hell. Right then, the phone rang. It was Bobby. She says, she called me Richard. She says, Richard's here. Oh, my God, Richard, She said, tell him what happened to him. She told me the exact same story. The exact word for word, man. I said, holy hell. So being a MUFON member, I had 15 people. We'll regress you. We'll take you back. Where was the abduction? Ellison, Pennsylvania. All right. And I said, nah, if I can't remember, I don't want to know it. I'm not having anybody hypnotize me because when I was a child abuse investigator in Florida, we had what they call the false memory syndrome. Yeah. And nobody is going to put something in my mind and make me think something. So no. So this went on for about a year. And I had, my cat, Bang Bang. Mm-hmm. Okay, Bang Bang, me and Bang Bang watching TV one night, sipping on beer. He used to drink beer. And he had a little thing there. He'd take a sip or two. And watching TV, and then this UFO show comes on. And there's little grays with hoodies on. And I'll go to hell. I could remember them coming into my bedroom. It came back to me. Wow. I can remember seeing them coming into my bedroom in the whole 9 yards. Then I'm thinking, like, wow, has anything ever happened? Then I remembered a couple missing time. Not that much, but, because I never really thought of it back then. And that story goes there. So we're going down, me and Danny, we're down in Salt Fork one night, and 3:30 in the morning. And 3 o'clock, we went down to Hozak's Cave, down there to eat, down there by the lake. And it gets 3:30. I said, Danny, it's 3:30 in the morning, man. Let's go back up there. Danny, okay, well, we'll go. When I said that, the sky lit up. Okay, you could actually read a newspaper. And I said, what the hell? I said, you got your gun? He said, yeah, it's right here. When he said that, it went boom, it got dark again. By the time I said another word, it got bright again, and there was a red orb. We could see a big red orb in there. Next thing we know, it's 6:30 in the morning, and we're both standing outside the truck. So we had 3 hours of missing time. All right. This was like only about a year ago.
Really? So, that recent?
Yeah, about a year ago.
Wow.
So we go, I run the meeting down in, I don't, Bob Schultz runs it, but I'm the director down here in Uniontown. We have our meetings in Cornersville. So it takes us 2 hours to get from Chester to Cornersville. All right. Mm-hmm. We're driving one time. We left at 3 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, we're not there yet. And we was driving. We don't know where we lost an hour there. We lost an hour's time there somewhere. So we've been going down to Salt Fork and calling them like, come on down, man, pick us up. We'll take a ride with you. But they never come back to get us. So I don't know, So
That's scary.
well, again, I'm doing a presentation to UFO group I belong to in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
UFOs and ghosts is their connection. And somehow, some way, I don't know, God works in strange ways. I'm religious too. I believe in God. I don't know what he is or she is or it is, but there's somebody there with a higher power than me. Comes on my computer, Reddit. You ever go to Reddit?
Yeah.
And it has kids at when you're ready to die. What the hell they call that? They put hospice.
Oh,
Kids
yeah.
in hospice see grays. And I said, what? And I'm, get it? And it says that kids between the ages of, say, 12 and under, when they're dying, they actually see grays. And they talk to them.
Huh.
And they say sometimes they laugh and sometimes they run and hide. Then they have them draw pictures of them. And they all draw pictures of a gray. Now, how in the hell is that? And it's interesting because why are they there? The thing is, right now, the grays are supposed to be taking souls. All right. And that could be why they're there. They're actually waiting for the kid to die so they can get the soul.
Wow.
And it goes back to a story. I'd say about 4 or 5 years ago, I got a report out in Eastern Pennsylvania. And the older lady, and she said that the aliens were there and they come to take her soul. Really? Okay. So I talked to her and she says, well, okay. And I said, no. I said, when they come, I want you to call me because I want to talk to them. Well, lo and behold, 2 weeks later, she calls me. She says, Mr. Saluga. When somebody says Mr. Saluga, I get shaky. She says, they're here. I said, who's here? She said, the aliens. I said, put him on a phone. And she says, he wants to talk to one of you. And I hear in the background,
Oh,
shit. She said, I got to go. And she hung up the phone. So about 5 days later, I quit answering the phone. I heard that shit. But anyhow, I tried to call her back up about maybe 5 days later. The phone just rang and rang and rang and rang. And then I tried again a week later, and it just rang and rang and rang and rang. Well, being an ex-police chief, I called up the police department. It was a small town. And I said, I'd like to talk to you guys about a UFO. Really? And I say, dude, I'm an ex-police chief, man. This is really, important. What, Fred? And I says, and I mentioned her name. And he went like, I says, I've been trying to get a hold of this lady now for 2 weeks and I can't get a hold of her. And he says, yeah, she's the one where they said the aliens was coming to take her soul, right? And I said, yeah, how do you know that? Well, she called the police department about it. And he said, what day did you talk to her? And I told him she died that day. She died that afternoon. All right. And I said, well, what was the cause of death? Unknown.
Oh,
and I said, but then again, you start getting into this stuff and you hear stuff and see stuff that people don't want to even, talk about, but it's out there and somebody's got to talk about it.
Yeah.
But today you got too many experts out there. Everybody's an expert. I mean, you talk about Santa Claus, they know all about Santa Claus and the reindeer. They can tell you everything you want to know. I know people with Bigfoot. They've come into Bigfoot, and 2 weeks later, they got handprints on their car. They got Bigfoot tracks in their living room, and they've had a cigarette with him. I mean, come on, really, the whole field is going astray. I think. I mean,
yeah.
Sometimes I even hate to go and do any of this stuff. I mean, and I give here 3 weeks ago. This is what, April? Maybe in March. In March, for 3 weeks in a row, I gave presentations to libraries. 3 weeks in a row. Mm-hmm. 4 nights out of the week, I did it. And people like it. but people don't want to talk. Everybody's afraid to say something because, you know, their neighbor's going to say they're crazy or whatever.
Yep.
And, you know, that's one of the big problems with this. And me, I mean, like if I go to American Legion, I drink 2 beers a day. And that's because my doctor told me 20 some years ago or 30 years ago, I should drink 2 beers a day. And I do everything my doctors tell me to do, you know, whether or not.
There you go.
I actually got operated on. That's the doctor that told me. And she actually had me have a 6-pack in my room because it was good for my kidneys.
Oh.
But yeah, she was an back operation. But yeah, and I mean, and people will call me. I mean, today I'll tell you what happened. I'm just getting back to walking again.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I lost my cane again somewhere. I don't know where the hell I lost it today. I was 3 or 4 different places. And so I was up at Robinson, up at the mall.
Yeah.
And I went into the bookstore and I went over and had to go to the bathroom. So I'm walking down and there was this blonde-haired girl sitting there reading a book and on her computer. I'm an agitator a little bit. So I come out of the bathroom, come back up, and I said, "What are you doing, studying?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "What?" She said, "I'm a nurse." "Really?" I said, "Where do you work at?" She says, "Presbyterian." You know where that's at? I said, "Hell yeah. I used to be a child abuse investigator in Pittsburgh." And we started talking. I said, "Well, what do you do?" She says, "I work in pediatrics with kids."
Oh.
Really? I said, "Well, can I sit down here with you for a few minutes?" And she said, "Yeah." We started talking. I told her the story. She said, "Well, Fred, I don't know." She said, "Because I don't work hospice." She said, "When kids die with us, they got tubes in them and they don't talk to nobody or nothing like that."
Yeah.
She said, "But that's really interesting." She said, "You should go on Reddit." And that's where I got this from. So, I mean, but it's out there, but people just don't want to talk about it. I mean, how many times people die and, you know, they talk to their relations before they die? You know, when my grandfather died, you know, nice Italian guy, you know what I mean? I go in to see him that day and he says, "Richard," he says, "I guess who was here today?" I said, "Who?" "San Antonio." I said, "Who?" He said, "St. Anthony." I said, "What the hell was St. Anthony doing here?" He came in and told me everything's going to be good. And I just looked at him. I said, "Well, you're not going to be here too long." He died that night.
Oh.
So, you know, again, I talk to a lot of people like that. I'm not just into Bigfoot and UFOs.
Yeah.
You know, I do the whole spectrum because I believe there's a tree. You got cryptids, ghosts, and aliens are all on the same tree, but a different branch. Everything is connected. If we could just put it together,
Yeah.
and people would work together, we could do that. But nobody wants to work together.
Exactly. They don't. I agree.
Everybody wants to be the hoopal. I know Bigfoot. You know, I got a brand new T-shirt. You see my T-shirt here.
Yes.
I was going to put mine on from yours, but I was looking for it, and I don't know where the hell it's at. I got so many T-shirts, I don't know what to do with them.
Believe me, I know.
But I mean, everybody, like I say, I mean, and they got close to 9,000 Bigfoot groups in the United States right now.
Wow.
9,000, and we can't find the Bigfoot. Isn't that a problem? I mean, now I'm not saying the government don't know nothing about them. I'm sure the government's well aware of what's going on with Bigfoot.
Yeah.
But I mean, us as people, I mean, it's you know, we start to, and people, like when I go to get a drink, and when I go to the American Legion, and the bartender always, when I walk in, he'll go, get up right into my face and go, "Did you find him yet?" And people who don't know me, they'll say, "What's he looking for?" And he'll say, "Bigfoot." And he, "Oh my God, I can tell you." They start to tell me the story and then they shut up. I'm not going to talk about it. Whatever. But like I say, we had that meeting up there. We had the conference up there. Like I say, Stan was up there. And, you know, not talk bad about Stan. Stan back in the 70s and 80s, he was a damn good investigator. I mean, he ran a damn good group in that. I think it's time for him to retire. I mean, when you give a presentation from 1973 and this is 2025, there's a little problem there.
Yeah.
You know? And then they had Maximus, whatever his name is, the guy that wrote the book on Bigfoot. He wrote a book on Bigfoot and UFOs. I don't know his last name.
Yeah.
He was there and gave a presentation.
I've never heard of him, and quite frankly, really don't want to.
Well, I call him an armchair cryptozoologist. I mean, he took stuff off of the internet and everything and put it in his, and I think he ran into a bunch of well-seasoned investigators, and they really wasn't into his talk too much.
Oh,
So I'll just let it go at that. But I collect the money there, so I know everything that goes on.
oh,
But it was interesting. I mean, we had some interesting discussions, a few of us, and I mean, like I say, we pick our people who we deal with. I mean, like I say, I know I can trust you. I know I can tell you stuff, and I know you'll do the same with me. And
yes.
you and I have been working together now for what? I remember the first time we had a conference. It was up in where
Yeah, Cook Forest.
of course, yeah. And a
Yep.
lady from Canada was there. Remember?
Yes.
And Amy came down.
Yep.
And Amy had to leave. I mean, she comes and leaves.
Yep.
And yeah, it was first time. That was like what, about 15 years ago. And we've been friends ever since. I
Yeah.
mean, we never had an argument. I mean, because like I say, I can tell you stuff and you tell me stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And whenever I get a report in your area, I share it with you.
yeah. And you always have.
Yeah.
And that's one thing me and Brian tell everybody. You all may say something about Mary, but Mary's been good to us. I don't know, what your problem is with her, but that's up to you and her,
Yeah.
We
Who
got
cares?
nothing. I got nothing but high ratings for you.
I appreciate it.
Yep. And like I say, I sometimes think about getting out of this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but like I said, I'm 76 years old. What the hell else am I going to do? I mean, I wrote the 2 books, and I can't even remember the names of them right now. I'm sitting here trying to think. I know one's Pennsylvania Portal,
Yes.
UFO Portal or something like that.
Let me see if I can find them. But in the meantime, for someone to order them, how do you, how would
They can get them from Amazon, or they can. I'll give you my email address, and they can email me, and I can, I send them a copy, and it'd be $2 thing to mail it to them.
let me
And
see
we
if
got
I,
another one coming out now. It should be out in another 2 or 3 weeks.
okay, here they are. Let me, I'll put them up on, okay, whoop, here we go. UFO Portal.
Yeah, Pennsylvania UFO Portal.
Yeah. And then,
West Virginia.
yeah, I lost the other one. Hold on.
That's a shame. I think I'm getting dementia too.
Here we go. Woo, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, West Virginia Paranormal
Gateway.
Gateway.
Yeah. So like I say, if they want them, and my email address is paranormal, PARANORMAL 1949 at AOL.com.
Yeah, I'll put that in the chat.
Okay. And also, if anybody has any questions or anything they want to deal with me, just send me an email and I'll get back with you within 2 days. Because I get on an average right now of 70 to 80 emails a day. And half of them are crazy people. Oh, they are. I mean, people are nuts out there. We went on a UFO report here, me and Danny, about 6 months ago when it was snowing. It's right on a county line up there. And the lady says it was UFOs. Well, we went, knocked on her door, and never answered the door. So we went and had something to eat, and she called, well, you're supposed to be here. So we went down there. She's telling us now that it's military, that the military's got bunkers under her house and everything, and she's talking about MK Ultra. What the hell does that have to do with UFOs? The people, everybody wants to be somebody. And then, like I say, I didn't say, okay, so I teach classes too. I taught at Westmoreland County Community College for 3 or 4 years. I taught at Eastern Gateway. And I taught at Beaver County. And I'm teaching right now down in Wheeling, down at West Virginia, Northern West Virginia Community College. This term, I'm teaching a Cryptozoology 101 Wednesdays, and from June 20, starts on Wednesday, June the 4th, at 6:30, at 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. It runs for 4 weeks. Now, to show you again, I admit when I'm stupid, okay? And I'm raising hell with the lady. I'm saying, I want 5 weeks. And she said, Fred, we can't do it. I said, what the hell you mean you can't do it? She says, Fred, do you know anything about anything? And that made me feel bad. I said, yeah. And she says, well, what happens on June the 30th? I said, we go into July the 1st. As far as I know, it's the beginning of the new year for colleges. So you can't have a class that goes from June into July.
Oh,
So you have
really?
to have it for a half hour, yeah.
Oh, my.
And anybody that lives down around there, you know, it's an adult education class. What are my thoughts about reptilians? I'll get to that in a minute. It's an adult education class, and we only charge $5 an hour, $5 a night. So you pay $20 for a 5-week class, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, which isn't bad. And we're going over Mothman. We're going to go over the Braxton County Monster. We're going to go over all the West Virginia cryptids, and a bunch of other stuff. So it's well worth your money, believe me. And then I'm doing a UFO 101 starts Wednesday, July the 9th to August the 6th down there. So if anybody wants any information on it, you can send me an email and I'll gladly send it to you. If anybody would like for me to speak somewhere, I'm more than happy. I don't charge nothing. I work a part-time job to pay for it. And I'll gladly give a presentation. Like I said, I just worked 3 weeks in a row, man, giving presentations. And I mean, the people are happy. You know, I mean, they're happy when you talk to them. They can talk to you. But, you know, you got some people are really dipshits. I mean, they got to come and tell you, well, okay, now here we go, Mary. Me and you're going to have a little problem right now. Okay. See, Mary is a firm believer that Bigfoot is an animal. Okay. He's a hominid, as they call him. Okay. I believe Bigfoot is either interdimensional or alien. Okay. And I think anybody who knows anything about Bigfoot will see it's starting to go my way now. All your big shots in the Bigfoot field are saying, yeah, could be, man. You know, quantum. I mean, you know, this and that. And I think when he's here, I don't like to say he. I like to say he or she. You know, when one of them's here, they are animal. But I think they can, you know, go their own way. I mean,
yeah. And
I mean, you know, and you know, I get in discussions, and one guy got up and actually called me a real dirty name and walked out.
Oh.
He called me a dirty name, man, and said, "You don't know what the hell you're talking about." Well, I haven't been in this for 50 years, you know.
Wow. Well, as of about 8 years ago, I started to turn your way, Fred.
I know. I used to remember, you're a woo. I mean, you know, woo. But you know, again, we don't. Everything about Bigfoot is what's the word I'm trying to use? I use it all the time. Like we can't answer the question.
It's a hypothesis, really. It's
well, I'll tell you one right here. Okay, I'm gonna have to use the word shit, but anyhow, yeah. Okay. So anyhow, I went to a place in Ohio, and I walked in and I sat down. Nobody knew me, I thought, and I'm gonna listen to these guys give a presentation. So this little old lady sitting there, and she goes, sir, can you tell me what Bigfoot eats? Speculation is the word. And this dude gets up, man. He puts his chest out. He could have been a good cop, man. If he had a gun, he would have had his hand on his gun. I mean, you know. Yes, ma'am. He says, I've been doing this work now for about 10 years. I can tell you exactly what Bigfoot eats. He eats berries. And I'm sitting there, you know, there are people sitting all around me, you know, yeah. He eats deer. Well, that's debatable. I only heard one person I know say they seen Bigfoot eating a deer. He carries deers, but nobody's ever seen him eat a deer. All right?
Yeah.
Then he said roadkill. When he said roadkill, I bust out laughing. The whole place just looked at. There's about 30 people there. They're all just looking at me like I'm crazy. He goes, "Do you have a problem, sir?" I like that, sir. I said, "I don't have a problem, but could you answer a question?" "What's that?" I said, "Well, how do you know he's roadkill?" He says, "Well, we checked at SCAT." He said, "You do know what SCAT is, don't you?" I playing stupid. I said, "No, what is SCAT?" And he says, "Feces." I said, "You mean shit?" He says, "Yeah." I said, "So you check Bigfoot shit?" And yes. He said, "We do that all the time." So I didn't say nothing else. And he sat there, Mary, and he was trying to make an ass out of me. I mean, he made me look like I was this big.
Yeah.
So he looked at me and he says, "You have anything else you want to say before we end this conversation?" I said, "Just one more question." So what's that? I said, "Who's seen Bigfoot take the shit?" And everybody just shut up. I said, "You're speculating. You found a pile of crap out there, so you're saying it's Bigfoot. So don't stand there and tell me you know what the hell you're talking about. This is what happens in this field."
Yeah.
And somebody spoke up and said, "Jesus Christ, there's Fred Saluga." I mean, and I think the whole field is speculation. I don't know what Bigfoot is. You don't know what Bigfoot is. Nobody knows what he is or her.
No.
I mean, only thing we know, it's a creature that runs around, scares people, and vanishes into the woods.
Yeah.
Other than that, we don't know nothing. What do we know? We know less now than we did back in the day. I mean, and another thing, they talk about the Native Americans. Well, we can't say Native Americans back then because there was no Native Americans back then. They were just whatever the hell they were. I don't know. And like they say, the moon would come down and the crazy bears would get out. They were Bigfoot. All right. They talked to Bigfoot. I mean, they had rapport with Bigfoot. And I'm gonna tell you what, if you ever check when you start getting reports, check your reports and ask anybody makes a report if they have any Native American blood in them. And you'll find out 5 out of 10 do. I mean, so they still have a relationship with Bigfoot. And we don't. So
Yeah. And again, that's speculation also. It could
yeah.
be chance, just percentages. But again, everyone, Fred is a retired policeman, and this is what he does. He has to maintain he has to step back and not, just take the facts as he gets them. And, who has seen a Bigfoot eating a deer? Yeah. You see a deer disappearing or a Bigfoot carrying a deer, or you see the stripped carcass, or you see a pile of crap out in the woods. Do we know that it was the Bigfoot that did that? It's all speculation until you actually see it doing it. It's speculation.
Right. And nobody believes that. Everybody thinks that they know the answer, but they don't. I mean, how many people? Well, we was talking about Bigfoot sighting. What gets me now down here at Salt Fork? Every time people go down to Salt Fork now, they see a Bigfoot, or they got the handprints on their cars or handprints on their trunk, or I go down. I went down there 1,000 times. I never got nothing. I don't understand it. I mean, Bigfoot must not like me. So.
Well, you're a mean old Italian guy. That's why.
That's probably it. I'm too dark complected. If I had more hair on me, you have to excuse my appearance too. I'm always told. I'll tell you this to your people too. When I do this stuff, why don't I put a tie on, or why don't I look presentable? Because number one, it wouldn't be me. I'm not out to impress anybody.
No.
And number two, I'm not looking for a woman. If I was, I tell you what, I'd have false hair on my head and all kind of good shit. Okay. So this is why I dress like this. But I see people come on here with, I mean, they got ties and they got they're handkerchiefs. Oh, get the hell out of here. But anyhow, what was I saying?
About speculation in Native American
Oh, yeah.
blood.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the people, everybody, well, we had one guy was in our group. He calls me the Mafia, Bigfoot Mafia. He joined our group, and within, I'd say, a month, he was smoking cigarettes with Bigfoot. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Smoking cigarettes.
Smoking cigarettes with it.
I have
Okay.
no idea. I have no idea. I think they were Pell-Mells, the long ones.
Along with something else mixed in.
But again, I mean, I'd love to see a lot of young people get involved in this field.
Yeah.
And, you know, the field is wide open. If we could get interesting people in it, I mean,
Yeah.
and I mean, you got the same people over and over, like they're having down at the salt work. They got Meldrum. He's another one. Why are you laughing?
I just try to keep my mouth shut about him.
I do too, but you know, I'm just saying, you know, he's down there.
Yep.
And then you got, I think you got somebody from Finding Bigfoot. That's an interesting story. So I'm at Beaver Creek when they had the thing down there, and the guy looks at me and he says, "Do you watch Finding Bigfoot?" I said, "Nope." And a couple of people from Finding Bigfoot were standing there, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean you don't watch Finding Bigfoot? That's a damn good show. I said, "Yeah, it's a good show." Well, why don't you watch it? Because you're never going to find it. The minute you find it, the show's over.
Yeah.
So why should I waste my time?
Yep.
And that's the way all these shows are.
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to find it. I mean, so, you know, they keep you, oh my God. You hear that? And then they go to advertisement. You know?
Yep.
And it's the same with what you call the ranch.
Skinwalker.
Ranch.
Yeah.
It's been on 3 years now. They ain't found shit. I mean, you know, and there is paranormal activity there.
Absolutely.
When Bigelow had it, well, you know when they first went out there, when they shot the wolf. You heard that story, right? It's
No.
true. Well, you know who Bigelow is, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Bigelow took a bunch of FBI agents, CIA agents, and a whole bunch out there to do an investigation. And half of their investigation is still classified. You can't read it. But when they first got there, they see the big wolf out in the field, and they shot it. And they went out there. It wasn't a wolf. It was a person.
Wow.
And that's true. I mean, that's true. But they're playing now. You know,
Yes.
They got that big mound. You know, you could knock that mound out of there in a day. I mean, blow it up. No,
Yeah.
they get little hammers and hit it, you know. And people everywhere, oh my God, I got to go home and watch it. They're going to do this tonight. I don't watch that stuff.
No.
I hate to say this, but I just watch Fox News. And then I watch Fox. I go from Fox to CNN, then to MSNBC, and I just laugh. I mean, you know, it's a joke. The whole government is a joke today, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And yeah. I also teach a conspiracy class. I'll be teaching that probably in the fall.
Ooh.
And that's interesting.
That would be.
I taught a class at the Catholic College in Steubenville.
Mm-hmm.
What's the name of it?
Oh heck. I know it's a certain sect of
Yeah, but anyhow, so I taught the class, okay? And I normally don't charge for this stuff. So she said, "Now I got to give you $50 a class because we got to get rid of money. You know, that's why we do this." I said, "Okay." So I get to the third class, and after the third class, she gets me and "I need to talk to you." I said, "Okay." So we go in the back room, and she hands me money, and she says, "I'm paying you for the whole class. You're done." I said, "Excuse me?" She said, "I don't want you talking no more. No more classes." I said, "Why not?" She said, "Well, the stuff you say isn't true." She says, "Everybody says you're crazy." Well, then she says, "You say that the government is the biggest drug pushers in America?" Yeah.
Yes.
I will say that. Yeah.
Yes.
CIA, yeah. Black budget money, yeah. You say that the weather's controlled by people, yeah. I would say,
Mhm.
yeah. And they wouldn't, so you go into a class that teaches, and the only thing you do is argue with people because they don't believe nothing you say. I mean, you look at the Kennedy assassination. Now they're talking everything CIA,
Mhm.
CIA.
Right.
Oswald never shot him, you know. But again, Bobby Kennedy, same thing. Martin Luther King, same thing.
Mhm.
You know, all these lone gunmen today, they all under mind control. Every one of them's under mind control.
Yeah.
And then when they hear the siren blown, they boom, they do them take themselves out so they don't have to testify in court.
Yeah.
But that's a good cat class if anybody wants to go. I mean, it'll
Yeah.
be
That's the Catholic College in Steubenville, Ohio.
no, it's at Wheeling, West Virginia.
Wheeling. Okay.
Yeah. Northern West Virginia Community College.
Okay. That would be fascinating.
It is. I'll tell you what. I was reading an article the other day about shooters again, and again, what your people should know about me. Okay, so when I moved to Florida, I started out down here in the prison system, and I worked in a place called the Medical and Reception Center. Now they didn't like us guys because we were Northerners, and they called us Yankees. But anyhow, I ran hospital security for 3 or 4 nights a week, and I worked the midnight shift. And that's when everybody from death row would come in on midnight shift. And me and Ted were personal friends.
Ooh.
I used to get to talk to Ted every Monday night for at least 2 hours. Because he used to come in every Monday night for his medication.
Huh.
Bill Burns, who had the TV show UFOs, Bill Burns used to wear the hat and the sunglasses.
Yeah.
Bill was trying to get me on 5 documentaries. And every time they send a thing to the prison for me to talk about Ted Bundy, they refused to let me because I got to get permission for him to talk.
Oh.
Because we had to sign a thing when we go in. We don't say nothing about anything that happens in the prison without permission.
Yep.
But then again, I heard some good stories down here. I can't tell. I mean, so. But the world is out there, man, and it's open. And I mean, if you don't, does Fred and reptilians around here? No. Okay, let me tell you about reptilians real quick. We had a guy down here in West Bygog, Virginia, who was around Christmas time, and he was a cop, and he seen UFOs flying over his house every night. And they called me up one night, and I went up there, and it was like 10 cops, and they were all drunk. They all had guns on. Christmas time, imagine that. And the guy's telling me, so yeah, it starts over here, and every night it starts here and it goes over to here. And I'm saying to myself, you're a cop? Do you know how to add 2 and 2? If it starts here every night and goes over here every night, it does it every night. There's got to be something more than a UFO. Well, it was actually Venus. But I didn't tell them that night, okay? Because I don't want to tell a bunch of drunken cops they don't know what they're talking about. So, but anyhow, he started getting involved with reptilians. And he said there was a reptilian worked at an undertaker. And this guy was really into it. I mean, he would say he would see their eyes, like we got our eyes there, how they slit.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people say they see that around down here where I'm from, West Virginia and Western Pennsylvania. Where's this person from that asked that question?
He lives in just over the state line in Ohio.
Well, she lives down by me then.
Yeah, fairly near, about 20 miles or so, I think.
And what's the town?
Corky. What's the name of the town you live in? I'm blanking out. There's a little bit of delay.
I got all night.
Lisbon, Ohio.
What is it?
Lisbon.
Oh, Lisbon. I live in Chester. So I'm not too far from you.
Yeah.
So, we've had reports down around here. Some people said they seen reptilians, but I don't do the investigations down there. Ohio does them. And I've talked to a couple guys, they've seen stuff, but nobody really talks about it. So
there's a lot of stuff around, between that end of Ohio into West Virginia, Greene County, all the way up, I think.
Greene County is West Virginia. That's what does that.
Yeah.
West Virginia. So you got Pennsylvania here, and then you got a 10-mile stretch, and you go into Ohio.
Yeah.
Now I live right on a river with East Liverpool. If I could throw a rock with my arm, I could hit East Liverpool. So we got East Liverpool's only 10 minutes from me, and Steubenville's only like 10 minutes from me.
Yeah.
Burgestown's 10 minutes from me. Beaver County's 10 minutes from me. Washington County's like maybe 25 minutes, a half hour from me. Yeah. So we got that whole area down here tied up.
Oh, yeah.
Tri-state. And like I said, we've had reports down here, but like I said, I don't do nothing down here no more because of MUFON in Ohio. I mean, that's their territory, and I'm not going to get involved in it.
Yeah. Yeah, Corky lives by Beaver Creek State Park.
Well, in Lisbon.
Yeah, he's by the creek.
Corky. Do I know him?
Corky. Yeah, you know Corky.
Oh, okay, yeah. I know who you're talking about now. Yeah. He came to our thing we had at the park in New Cumberland.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah. Yeah, we don't, like I say, we don't see too many things down there. I mean, we got reports of them, but, tell them to get a hold of me. Or get a hold of me, man. You got my phone number, I think.
Yeah, if not, then Corky, contact me or message Fred also, and I can give you Fred's phone number.
Yeah. Like I say, anybody that wants to talk to me, man, I'm more than happy to talk to you. I mean, you may know something that I don't. I may know something that you don't. I mean, I think that's the only way if we could all talk together, we could find out stuff.
Yeah.
We don't. That's the problem. I mean, there's so much feuding going on with these people today. I mean, there's a big fight going on right now with a bunch of them. I mean, it's like, what the hell is wrong with you people? Yeah. It's over stupidity. It's over stupidity. And, but everybody wants to be the top dog. And they're not going to be the top dog. I mean, there is no top dog.
Well, it comes out to ego and greed because they think they're going to make a lot of money out of this. And and like you said, they want to be the big dog.
Well, but I'm going to tell you something, Mary. I've seen one of the persons you're talking about, I'm talking about, we ain't going to name names or anything like that. But I was at a presentation that they gave. People got up and walked out. They said the person's full of shit.
Yeah.
And then I get right after them when I start talking about Bigfoot being an alien and everything. But they agree with me for some reason. I don't know. But
because you make it fascinating, even if they don't agree with you, you're fascinating to listen to, as well as funny.
You got to.
Fred is no shit. He is absolutely no BS. He says it, as it is. He puts it out there.
When I was at Rigby's, when I was out at Rigby's thing, and Jamie and Jenny was, so when they went to, I came up, they played the theme from James Bond. And Jenny was dancing. And then after it was over, Jamie says, "What's your name?" That's Bond, James Bond. And I don't know, a lot of people say I look like Bond when I was younger. When I've had a tuxedo on and that.
Oh, yeah.
Now I look like a 76-year-old man ready to make the magical mystery tour. I mean, again, you got to laugh. I mean, like Bond, James Bond. We went to a wedding, me and a lady, lady friend. I'll say lady friend. There was no, you know.
Yes.
And so we got up there and we says, "Is this where so and so is getting married?" This was up in Scranton, PA. The guy had a tux on, and the lady was there. She was blonde hair, real dressed up. And he said, "Yes, it is." He said, "Who are you?" And I said, "I'm Fred. I used to work with the guy." "Who are you?" He looked at me and said, "Bond, James Bond." I said, "Oh shit, what am I getting into here?" And I said, "Who are you, ma'am?" She said, "I'm Marilyn Monroe." I said, "Really?" So, but I mean, again, you look at stuff and everything's tied in together. I mean, and people can't understand that. I mean, you know, you could go out walking and look at a tree, and that may have something to do with something that you just seen or whatever.
Yes.
I mean, we was talking today again about the Hotel California, the song.
Oh, okay.
You know, what is it? You know, and people don't understand. Anton LaVey, if you know him,
Okay. Yeah.
he was the head Satanist out in California.
Right.
If you look at the Hotel California album, you'll see somebody standing in a black garb up on top. That's Anton LaVey.
Oh.
And then he talks about champagne on ice, pink champagne on ice. And we haven't had that here since 1969. Well, Jane Mansfield was one of his people. All right. She died in 1969.
Yeah.
Her head went.
Yeah.
And everything she loved was pink, and everything's in there. And then you can check out, but you can never leave.
Huh.
Okay. You know, so what the hell was we talking about? And that song came up. And yeah, Fred, you're right. I mean, you know, and like I said, you listen to songs, you listen to stuff, and you can actually pick out stuff that people are saying subconsciously, even though they're saying it. And you say, wow, man. You know, like I know one person right now in a field here, they got 700 Bigfoot reports. And nobody's seen any of them but them.
Oh. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
700. And I got into it with them.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of people stuck up for me. And they really don't talk to me until today about that. I mean, I think if you got a Bigfoot and it rains every Friday that it rains, Bigfoot's under the bridge. Okay? Don't you think the Bigfoot would come back under the bridge another Friday? Maybe we should be there waiting for him. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But nobody wants to do that. Oh, this is my report. I got this report. You know, it's ridiculous. I mean,
It really is.
did Ted Bundy tell you people tasted like chicken? No, he never ate anybody. He just killed them. You're talking about a totally different murderer there. And they got a lot of good stories in prison, too. Guys will tell you. I'll tell you an interesting one. We got a report down in Moundsville. And a guy from, I think he's from Maine. Him and 3 other guys pay $5,000 to go down there for one night. They go 8 o'clock in the morning, they get locked in, and they get to leave the next morning at 8 o'clock. And they're all millionaires. And he says he was up on a second tier walking, and he felt he was being watched. And he had his camera, and he was taking pictures. And he turned and looked real fast, and he boop, boop, took a picture of a gray in a cell. It was actually a gray in a cell. He sent me the picture, but he wanted it back. And I had it analyzed, and they said, yeah, it's true. Now, what the hell would a gray be doing in a prison? I mean, you know? But then you look at it, who's to say a gray? I have an EV on Red Snyder from Moundsville Clear. You can get some good EVPs down there, man. They're good. That place is actually haunted. That's one place I think it's haunted.
I agree. Yeah.
I've been down there a few times, and I know most of the people down there and that. But yeah, and I had to give it back to him. But again, the same tree, but a different branch. Ghost and aliens. They can walk through walls.
Yeah.
Okay, Bigfoot. Why can't you can see Bigfoot, but I can't? Why is that?
I don't
My
know.
mind operates on a different frequency
Yeah.
or different vibration. That's why somebody can, like they say, okay, you've seen Bigfoot, what, 5 times?
Yeah.
Okay. So people say because you've seen Bigfoot 5 times, you're full of shit. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I know.
Okay. But Paul Johnson, you know Paul.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Paul Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Paul says, and I agree with him 100%. You may have the frequency to see them where we don't. It's not you're full of shit. You can see them. I can't,
Yeah.
you know? And people can't understand that frequency and vibration. The same with UFOs and ghosts. How can an alien take you, abduct you, and take you through a wall? How is that? I got to take 2 beers every time I think about that. Like, how the hell can that happen? I mean, but again, we're talking about frequency and vibration now. I forgot to bring that in. And that's why, the alien thing here.
Mm-hmm.
The Bigfoot can actually do that too. They can actually do what they want to do. Everything's vibration. Like, how many times do they say they got a Bigfoot caught? They got him in a corner, but they never get him.
Yeah.
Maybe he turns into one of us. And he's actually looking for himself, laughing his ass off. You see what I'm saying?
Maybe.
Yeah.
We
I mean,
don't know.
you never know. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
but you got to look at it, and people don't want to look at it. People want you to believe what they believe, and if you don't believe what they believe, you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
Yeah. There's just so much out there, and that we don't know. And but yeah, you're right. There's frequency that affects so much more than just
Yeah.
what we see, but what we don't see.
Yeah. And same with vibration. Put your hand on your table; it's actually vibrating.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's moving. All of the cells. I mean, the atoms and the protons and all that. You
Mm-hmm.
can't see them moving, but they are. I mean, and I think that has a lot fallen. Yeah, that could be too. That could be too. I agree there.
Yeah.
Again, we don't know. I mean, it's like we just had Easter. I'd love to live back in them days. I've probably been dead, but okay. Talking about that now, you got a picture from the 1300s of Jesus on a cross, and you got 2 UFOs flying above him. Where did somebody get them pictures at 1300?
Yeah. The painting on. Yeah.
The same thing with Mary. Mary's holding Jesus, and there's a man standing on a side of a hill pointing up to his dog, and there's a UFO up there. Where are these pictures coming from? I mean,
Yeah. Where is the painter seeing this, or getting this information? Yeah.
I don't know, but they're there,
Yeah.
and we have to look at that.
Yeah. It's weird, what they put in, and is it something that they have a vision of that scene, that there's a UFO?
Yeah.
And in the 1300s, how did they know about UFOs?
Yeah. I mean, okay, we another interesting subject while we're talking. Okay, the Ark.
Yeah.
Okay, was the Ark as big as they say it was? Or did Noah have DNA of all the animals? If he had DNA of all the animals, he could have been a rowboat.
Yeah.
I mean, so you look at it, and when they say he had all the animals, except a unicorn, the unicorn wouldn't get on a boat.
Yep.
It couldn't have been. Yes, it could have been. He had the DNA of every damn animal, and he started it all over again. So don't say it's impossible. Nothing's impossible.
Yeah.
And again, people don't want to look at that. Well, there's something wrong with you. You're crazy. Well, I may be crazy, but I'm happy as hell, man. Like I say, when I die, I've never seen a Bigfoot. When I die, I'm gonna go up. I know I'm going up. They're going to keep me for a little bit in the middle here. I mean, I got to, make a little amends here and there. But they're going to put me in a room one day. Nothing in the room but table and chairs. No thing you can play on your phone or anything. And all of a sudden, here comes the Mothman walking in. Then here comes the lizard guy from down in South Carolina. And then here comes something else. Before you know it, the whole room's full. Then here comes Bigfoot. And Bigfoot looks at me and goes, "You came this damn close, Fred." And I can't wait. I mean, so. But again, I mean, if I never see a Bigfoot, I don't really care. I mean, I'm going to investigate it until I die.
Yeah.
And I believe in Bigfoot, and I believe he's out there. And I mean, that's my belief. I mean,
yeah. And have fun while you're doing it.
Well, I always have fun, Mary.
Oh, I know that.
I got kicked out of a couple funerals for having fun. I could never stand somebody. Okay, you're in a bar, and it's like brother-in-law or something. That son of a, you know what? He's no damn good. The biggest piece of shit I ever seen in my life. Then they die. First thing you do, you go in there and they say, "Don't they look good?" How in the hell do you look good when you're dead? I don't know. I mean, you could say some other thing, but don't look good. I mean, they ain't moved the muscle in 2 or 3 days. I mean, you know. And then, "Oh, he was such a wonderful person. 2 days ago, you said it was a piece of shit." The Undertaker comes up and says, "Fred, you got to leave." You're going to start an argument in here. I'm not going to start. I'm just tell the guy what he said. "Fred, leave." "Okay, thank you. Have a wonderful day." You are officially invited to my funeral. Send me an invitation, dog. I'll be there.
Yep.
But I think you got to be the same you everywhere you go.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's, you know, people don't do that. Everybody puts an air on.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't do that. I mean, I'm me. And I've been this way 76 years and I'm not changing. Believe me.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said, I shaved today. I could have. I was actually sitting down there watching Danny put a thing on his little steps in a hot sun, sweating like hell, drinking green tea. But you got to be you. If you can't be you, and like I said, that's the problem with the whole system today. People ain't themselves. They want to be somebody they're not.
Yeah.
So, anybody else got any questions?
Let's see. Let me scroll back just in case I missed any. Come on, guys. Got any questions?
Nope.
Okay. When I spoke at Fred's event, he asked, "What am I smoking?"
That's probably true, Corky. I know you now well.
Yep.
What do you like about the future of Bigfoot? Right now, I'm going to tell you what, I don't think there's any future for Bigfoot research. If they don't change their ways, there's not going to be none. Because it's nothing but bickering and fighting and arguing and this and that. Like I said, I hope we could get some young people involved that actually take it seriously and work and try to get together and do things. But until that happens, man, it ain't going to happen. I mean, you how old are you, Mary? I mean, I shouldn't ask a woman how old she is.
Oh, I'm 69.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm 76 and you're 69. We've been in this for what, 15? Well, I've been in it much longer than you, but, you know, and we try to talk to these young kids about it. You know, why don't you join? Yeah. You know, they want to run around and say, you know, "Oh, I got a Bigfoot t-shirt," or "I got Bigfoot this and that." But you ask them to come to a meeting or something, teenagers, they don't want to. I mean,
Exactly. Yeah. Or else you may get them for a couple hours, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's about it. But ask them for a commitment. No.
But give them a telephone where they can let their little fingers do the walking. Oh my God. You know, that's another thing that gets me. You go sit in a bar, and you got the boyfriend and girlfriend. They're sitting next to each other, and they're talking to each other on the damn phone.
Yeah.
What is the world coming to?
I know. Well, that pandemic from a few years ago
Oh yeah.
harmed a lot. It really did.
Mm.
Made people afraid of being social, talking to each other.
Well, but you got to. I mean,
Yeah.
and you know, and all of it was a lie anyhow. It was all a
Yeah.
lie. I mean, you know, I remember I never wore a mask,
Yeah. Same
and
here.
I used to go everywhere. I never
Yeah.
wore a mask, and it's like, well, you're going to catch the COVID. If I catch it, I catch it. I mean, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
you got to get a shot. I said, no, I'm not getting a shot. But going to the VA, you had to get a shot. I mean, it wasn't going to work on you. So, and I got sick as a dog, man. I tell you what, I couldn't move for 3 days. And they said, you going to get the second shot? Nope, I ain't getting it. I mean,
Yeah.
end of the story. Look what it did to Joe Biden. Poor Joe. Poor Joe.
Yeah. Poor Uncle Joe.
Yep. Go lay down on a beach. Let the kids play with the hair on his leg. I'd like to see Trump do a what's he sign every day?
Executive orders.
Yeah, that nobody shoots Bigfoot. I'd like to see him do one of them.
Yeah. Well, if people get afraid and shoot, which really bugs the heck out of me because a lot of them are,
Bigfoot's more afraid of you than you are him.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of the people doing that are, retired military.
Yeah.
And you would think, you've had all this training, even hunters, you've had all this training, gone on to all the hunting classes, and yet your immediate response is to shoot.
Yeah.
You only shoot what you can eat.
Yeah. Well,
So
I see people, and I was with two guys. We went down to Kentucky on a case down there, and the one guy I was with, I said I'd never go with him again. I want to kill that son of a bitch. When I see him, I'll kill him. And what the hell is wrong with him? I mean, they want to get the head, like they put the deer head up above the fireplace, they'll put the Bigfoot head up there. I mean, for what reason? Bigfoot didn't do nothing to you.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he's just out running around in the woods having a jolly good time. But they want to kill him. I mean,
yeah. And, and all the ones, all the reports that I've taken about that, the Bigfoot is doing nothing aggressive.
Nope.
Not even walking towards them, and yet they shoot it.
Yeah.
So, it just makes me sick, and they want sympathy from me, or they want me to congratulate them, and no, I chew them out.
Oh yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I chew them
I
out.
think, you know, I tell them, like I say, Bigfoot never done nothing to you, man. I mean, if Bigfoot comes up to you and he's 2 feet from you and he starts, Wah! And he comes at you, blast him. But I'm going to tell you what, you better have something bigger than a 44 Magnum.
Yeah.
Because he's going to kick the shit out of you once. We had a case down, we go down to Wetzel County, me and Danny. And there's Bigfoot down there. All right. I've never seen one, but I heard him whistle. I had rocks thrown at me. I can't say Bigfoot threw a rock at me. Someone or something threw a rock at me.
Yes.
But we hear the whistle, and then the rocks come from the whistle, and if the rocks are about yay damn big, ain't no human could send them.
Yeah.
And what the hell was I going to say? See, my mind goes. But what the hell was I saying?
About Bigfoot being aggressive. And
oh yeah. So I mean, but he's not aggressive. He throws stones at you because he's not trying to hit you.
Right.
He's letting you know you're in his territory. And if you come to my house, I got a 44 Magnum with an 8-inch barrel sitting right there. I'm not going to throw a rock at you. I'm going to throw some lead at you. And that lead's going to knock you right through the door. But again, I mean, this is his land. We're invading his property.
Yeah.
Did you say Wetzel County? Sorry, my husband. Yes, Wetzel County. Down at the state game lands down there. But a lot of activity down there. We even found a mound down there.
Oh, really?
We don't know what kind of grave it is. The grave's like 8 foot long and about 7 foot wide. And the dirt, they had the dirt analyzed. And it came from Arizona. What the hell would Arizona dirt be doing in Wetzel County, West Virginia?
Wow.
And this thing, like, one time we went down there and there was a tree on there, and we took the tree off and cleaned it.
Mm-hmm.
Came down the next week, there was 5 feathers in it. What the hell is that? I mean, again, that's interesting, ain't it? Every time we go up there, the crows would start crowing, and they crowed until we left. I mean, it's like they was telling somebody they're here and they're here to stay.
Yeah.
And then one time I fired a shot. We went down over the hill, and George said, "Hey, Fred, somebody's been here. Look." You could tell where somebody was like they was pulling on a tree. I walked behind a tree and there were scratch marks, and the tree there was still juice coming out.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They said to me, "You might have the gun, but you're in my territory, brother."
Exactly.
And I'll kick your ass from here to nowhere.
Yep.
And I'm gonna tell you what, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, Amen. I left.
Mm-hmm.
This is your territory.
Yep.
So, and I think
they're fantastic at intimidation.
Yeah.
They are the masters of it.
Yeah. And I think that's another thing. We go on property, even when we're ghost hunting, we do not respect the property. We do not respect anything.
Yeah.
We do this and we do that. And I mean, there's no I mean, there's no couth. I mean, I don't know. But we do a lot of EVPs down there, and we pick up quite a bit. So we picked up an EVP the other day. Danny did on his tape recorder. He says, "Mr. Watson," yeah, I owned a farm. He said, "Mr. Watson," he said, "well, we had nothing to do today, so we figured we'd come up and say hi to you. Your old dilapidated house here." And lets the tape recorder run and plays it. Class A voice. "Thank you guys for coming up. No one does come up here to visit me." Class A, like I'm talking to you. Who the hell was that? Where are they from? What? Another statement. What happens when you die? What happens? Do you go into the cosmos? I mean, there's so much out there for us to investigate. And what do? We talk shit. It's amazing. I mean, the older I'm getting, I'm saying like, man, I should have started this back when I was like 50 years old.
Yeah.
But no, I was too tied up with Bigfoot UFOs, man. But now I'm saying like, wow, man, I should have done this. I should have done that. It's too late now. Well, it ain't too late. I'm doing it. I mean, I take time to do it, but I'm the only person I know in the world that goes to a bar and takes a book and reads. And I mean, everybody that knows me, they say, "I give you credit, man. You're the only person I've ever seen do that. You don't really care either." I said, "No, I'm interested in what I'm reading."
Mm-hmm.
I drink a beer in my mind, like people say they take acid and, "Oh yeah, man, I'm going." I drink 2 beers and my mind goes. I can start, wow, maybe this happened or that. Yeah, and like I said, also people, I'm a DUI instructor. So I did that for 20 some years. Kicked one person out of class in my life. A young 17-year-old smartass to use the word F so many times it was a shame. And I told him one more time and you're out of here. He just looked at me right in the eyes and I said, "Okay, you're done." So about 4 weeks later, my boss calls me at home. He says, "Fred," I said, "What?" "Your friend, the F friend, is at my office with his mother and father." I says, "So what do you want me to do?" "Well, that's what I want to know. What do you want to do?" "The judge told him today, if you don't let him come to the next class, he's doing 6 months." And I'm saying, oh, I'd love to see him go become a bitch. Nah. I better not. I said, okay, let him in. So I mean, he was appreciative until he was ready to leave, and then he ripped on me.
Oh,
Because he already had his certificate and everything.
yeah.
But again, I mean, I think you got to look at people too. I mean, real quick, being a cop. Well, like okay, say, well, we know somebody in Bigfooting that has a history. All right, and the person told me that he doesn't understand why I'm an ex-cop and I worked in a prison, I treat him like I do. And I say, when I worked in a prison down there, they had this old black man, his name was Richardson, and he allegedly killed these 7 kids. And he sat on a chair twice, and he had a massive heart attack right before Thanksgiving. And we had to go sit with him down at the hospital. And I never believed the guy killed his kids after talking to him. So they was going to kill him again. They was going to put him on a chair again. And before you die in a chair, they got to bring you in and make sure you're well enough. You pass the physical to get burned. I could never understand that, and I told him, I said, Mr. Richardson, I'm going to tell you what, I had tears in my eyes. I really did. I really felt bad for the guy. I said, I don't know what to say to you, man. I said, I don't think you killed your kids, man. And I think this is wrong. And he looked at me, the guy says, boss man, I get to see my kids and I get to see my wife. And I said, wow. 3 days before this guy was to sit on a chair again, his next door neighbor got cancer. She went to the priest and she confessed that she killed the 7 kids. 25 years and sat on an electric chair twice, and the guy didn't do nothing.
Oh,
like I tell everybody now, only 3 people know what happened. You, the victim, and God.
mm-hmm.
I wasn't there. I can't say nothing, and I'm not going to say nothing. And I think people should take that attitude a lot of times because we don't really know what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, talk to people in DUI class. Fred, they put drugs in my car. Did they? I don't know. It's between you and the cop and God.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say they did, they didn't. But I believe some of them probably did.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really believe there's a lot of dirty cops out there, but I believe there's some.
Mm-hmm.
And, and again, I think we gotta be people that try to help each other and try to do things for each other and instead of trying to screw each other over. And when we do that, at the end, another interesting thing is this is supposed to have been the last pope. Supposed to be turmoil and destruction now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, is that coming? What's people going to do? I mean, your own neighbor's going to kill you for a cup of coffee. I mean, so you store up food and you tell somebody, well, I got food stored up. They found out, oh my God, MaryFPBP. She said she had food. Next thing you know, they're at your house with a gun, man, boom, boom, taking your food.
Yeah.
And this is the country we live in. So what the hell do we do? Do we help? And I had another situation where here about 2 months ago, I'm at a gas station. And this old man's getting gas. I'm getting gas, and he's over here, and I'm over here. I'm listening to him. And his wife says, Henry, how much gas you putting in a car? And he says, I forget her name, like say, Ethel, I got $5. That's all I can put in. She says, is that going to get us to Pittsburgh and back? This was in West Virginia. He said, I don't know. So he had to go into the store. So I'm still pumping my gas, and my thing reached around to his. I filled his tank up. And the guy come out, and he see me doing, what are you doing? I said, dude, take your wife to the hospital. And then I had 3 people come up to me. Why'd you give that old man gas? He probably got more money than you do. Dude, I'm buying the gas. It's none of your goddamn business what I do.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I seen these people later on. They thanked me like you wouldn't believe. She started crying. She said, I never seen anybody like you. I mean, I felt, like I wish somebody would do that for me. The other day, I got a flat tire. Okay, this is a good one too. Making good people. So I got a flat tire, and I went to the thing up to buy the stuff you put in your tire. Fix the flat.
Yeah.
$19 for a can. Used to be $3.55. But
Yeah.
anyhow, so it didn't work anyhow. So I'm sitting there, I'm going like, holy shit, I was down by Uniontown. And the guy told me, he said, go down the road down there. There's a gas station, a garage down here. Young guy runs it. He says, he'll probably help you out. He said, I said, well, I'll pay him to, change the tire in there. So I go down there, and the old guy looks at me and, I'll be with you in a minute. I said, okay. So he comes out and he cranks my car up and got about this high off the ground, takes the tire off and fixes it. I said, what I owe you, man? He looked at me and says, sir, when I get as old as you, I hope somebody would help me out someday.
Oh.
I said, wow. I said, here's $10, man. No matter. I mean, he said, I don't want it. I wouldn't take it. He wouldn't take it. He threw it back in my car. I mean, I think this is the way people should be.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
I would help somebody on the street if I didn't know them. I mean, if you need food and I got it, I'm going to give it to you. I mean, I don't know what your problem is. Again, I don't know. It's all speculation.
Yeah. It's hard to judge.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know.
Bigfoot is standing 2 feet, and what do you do? Shit, run rabbits, and bark at the moon. I'll be honest with you, man. I don't know what I would do. I'm not going to say. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I might even have a heart attack. I can't say. I'd have to have that happen before I could say what I'd do.
Yeah. And it would depend on his attitude.
Yeah. I mean, we had Mike. Remember Mike died out at the park out there?
Yeah.
Linda still says that she believes that Mike seen Bigfoot. And that's why he had the heart attack, which that's very possible.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't know what I'd do. I mean, you hear people say, well, hell, I'd punch him or dude, you're going to punch Bigfoot? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't run because I can't.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd stand there and just pray to God that, he won't kill me. But I doubt it because, I'd never heard of a Bigfoot killing anybody. So.
Yeah, Corky says you go into shock.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
That's very possible, Cork.
Yeah.
You got a lot of Bigfoot on your property down there, if I remember correctly.
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I went out there and spent the night out there a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And it was interesting.
Yeah. I see you're speaking up at
Forest County.
Yeah.
Yep. Again.
I wouldn't go up there, man. Too many people, number one, too much walking, and too much bullshit. You see all the people with the brass things, they should have soldiers things on there, like lieutenants and colonels and stuff. They're the kings up there,
Yes. But believe me, I know.
You did the first one up there, and you invited me up there.
Yes.
Yep, we did the first one up there.
That's right, we did. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Then the next year, it got really bad. They start coming up by groves, and I think Bill's trying to start that up down there where he lives now.
Yeah,
a 3-day thing down there.
Yeah, last year it got. I think there were 50,000 people.
And I don't know how you put 50,000 people there, man.
It was crazy. It really was. And all I know is I was exhausted, and Bill got sick. Bill got sick. He went into the hospital soon after.
Well, he just had a procedure done on him the other day, a back procedure.
Oh.
I guess. He said yesterday was the first day he woke up without back pain.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. Mary heard all walking. What?
Yeah, whenever I was at Corky's, I spent the night in my van, and I heard something walking by in the gravel right outside my van.
Well, I want to come up, Cork. You got my gig, man. Get a call. Give me a call, and we'll come up there.
Yeah.
So I got so much shit going on in my life right now. I don't even know where the hell I'm at.
Yes.
So since my one daughter died, my other daughter, I'm trying to help her out.
Yeah.
And then my other daughter quit talking to me because she got pissed off because I gave them money.
Oh,
And it's a big thing. And then, I live where I'm living now. These people are nice down here, but they're always partying.
oh,
Well, yeah, no, they'll have a cookout. It'll be 50 people. And, food's there. I mean, you can't beat them. They're nice people, but,
yeah.
you
They like to party.
yeah. And then, like I say, I do all this stuff for nothing. And it's like, Fred, can you give a presentation here? Fred, can you give a presentation there? Yeah, I'll go. Like okay. Anybody near Steubenville? I think the 22nd, if that's a Thursday, I'm giving a presentation on Bigfoot at Shoppa Library down there. If not, just go to Shoppa Library and find out. I think it's the 22nd, and it's got to be by reservation, the way they're saying. So, but no, I got to go to the doctor's, man. I'm gonna be tied up to about 4 o'clock. I'm free Thursday though.
Yeah, tomorrow's Thursday.
Well, I'm free Friday then.
Okay.
Yeah, today's Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's the 1st, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow I got lung appointments tomorrow. I got to go there. So, but I'm free the next day, and I'm actually free the weekend. No, I won't. No. I don't know what time I'm gonna be at the hospital. I don't know what time I'm gonna get out of there. I may end up in Pittsburgh tomorrow.
Ooh.
I'm going to the doctors here, but they'll probably send me down to the VA.
Ooh.
They can't do a lot of the stuff down there, and I don't know how long I'll be there. So I can't say yeah, I can't say no. So, but I know I'll be probably Friday and Saturday. I'll be good. So,
Yeah.
and we're having it down there again in October down at the park down there this year.
Oh.
So, yeah. We may cancel the one down in Brownsville. Can't get any vendors.
Oh, really?
Can't
At
get
the Patsy.
Gentlemen.
Yeah. Oh. I know. I thought about signing up for that one, but the way my health is, I just can't
Yeah.
really commit. I'm finding myself turning down more and more.
Mary, it's same with me, man. I'm starting.
Yeah.
I'm starting to say, like, I can't go every day.
Yeah.
And do like tonight now, when I'm done with you, I'll
Mhm.
put the TV back on. I'll be sitting here at the computer typing for the class for about 3 hours. And then I'll
Yeah.
get up at 5 in the morning and I start the whole day over again.
Yep.
And I'm 76 years old. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when I wrecked that time, remember the last time I wrecked? Not the last time I wrecked, the time before that. I fell asleep at the wheel. I can't tell that to the police. I hope they're not watching. But they're too late now. Speculation. But I mean, I fell asleep. I've never
I
fell
think all
asleep
the
in my
ones
life.
in here, they're all retired.
Yeah. I mean, but again, I mean, you just keep on, you want to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I put on an average a month 6,000 to 7,000 miles on my car.
Yeah.
My gas bill's enormous. I mean, I pay $1,000 in gas. So
Yep. I know you do. And you need a really good car. And I
well, I
don't
got
think,
one. I got one now.
do you have a good one now?
Yeah, I got a shit. What do I got? I used to have one just like it. It was white. You got the spoiler on the back.
Oh.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, I wear this black hat, man. Shit. I go anywhere I want, man. Yo, what's up, dog?
You need a Lincoln.
No. That's beyond me. That's beyond me. Back in the day, I used to drive a Triumph Spitfire, and everybody had Corvettes and shit.
Yep.
My Spitfire got me everywhere I'm going. It was a sports car.
Yep.
Warm in the winter. Take the top down in the summer. I don't need nothing. I just need me. I mean, I love what I got, and I don't have to be somebody I'm not,
Yeah.
But
Yep.
But like
Even
I got to
though
go tomorrow at 10:30, and I know they're going to tell me they want to run stuff, X-rays and that, and they have no X-rays there at the Washington office down there.
Yeah.
So you normally send you. So they send me down there, and then you got to sit there and wait. And then they do the X-ray, and then they'll say, "Well, we got to do another X-ray," and then the doctor will see you. Before you know it, it's 6 o'clock already on a Friday night. Then you got to drive all the way back up Green Tree Hill and shit. You don't know what the hell time you're getting on.
Oh my.
Green Tree Hill's a bitch, man.
Yes. Yes, I know.
When I got an appointment down there, I make my appointments at 7:30 in the morning down there.
Yeah.
And like I got a glass appointment, I think in October, and the doctor actually he's into Bigfoot. He'll come right out 7:30 in the morning. Come on, Fred. Go back and we start bullshitting for half hour. But they give me an appointment in the afternoon. I won't go. I'll cancel it and set it for the morning. I'm not going. Sit in that traffic for 2 hours going down that hill, man? No way.
I know. It's crazy.
How people can do that is beyond my. I used to when I lived down there for 5 years. I mean, I worked down there, so I was getting paid to sit there.
Yep. I used to work.
Yeah, we just sit there down, and you go there in the morning and you'll see women putting their makeup on, guys shaving.
Yep.
Dude, do that shit at home, man. Why you gotta do it on your way to work? Man,
Yeah, I used to work in Green Tree. I know.
You did? Yeah.
Yep.
What'd you do in Green Tree?
I worked medical billing.
Oh, okay. My son-in-law's parents live there. So,
Okay.
well, he must be my ex-son-in-law because he don't talk to me either. But anyhow, yeah. So I don't know what time I'll be done down there tomorrow night. So
Yeah.
but I know I'll be done. I'll be free the next day. So
Yeah. So Corky, give him a call Friday or Saturday then.
mm-hmm. Saturday would be good because me and Danny could come down and yeah. So you could have two of us down there because his wife's working and he'll be see what's happening.
Yeah, Corky's place is something.
We had hot dogs down there. I think that they was behind the thing where we were giving the presentation. You was there.
Yes.
You was there. Yeah, you and Bill.
Yeah.
Remember, because Bill talked and he was on television.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, there was reporters there.
Yeah. Yeah. But like I said, for some reason, no. Every week now they have something. Somebody's having something. And you can't get. I mean, Dan had. He was low. He was about 100 people shy, and people up there. Everybody said none of the vendors made money. Brian, he got them baskets and all that shit.
Yeah.
He only made $28.
Oh wow.
No, I don't have nothing in Westmoreland County. That's Stan Gordon's domain. I don't say too much about that.
You don't trespass on his territory.
Nope. He better not come on mine, and I won't come on his.
Yeah.
I never did really any investigations up there. So I normally stayed down in Fayette. Well, Westmoreland County, when you got, I got to take that back, because you got the ridge up there.
Yes.
We had a case up there. I don't know if you know what the hell's her name? I don't know. Anyway, we got a case where the grandmother said that every time she had the kid, that a baby Bigfoot would come, a juvenile.
Oh.
And she said it fell out of the tree. So we went up there and we could see where something actually fell out of the tree. And then we found little tracks about this big because it was muddy, good tracks.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we did up in Westmoreland. And that's one of them cases where I asked the grandmother, I says, anybody in your family have any Native American blood in them? No. Okay. Going home, and she called up and said the kid's father was part Cherokee.
Oh.
Yeah. So I've had people raise hell with me about that statement for a long time, man. They don't want to, Well,
it's...
And the ridge is actually Stan Gordon and Eric Altman. They're the top dogs up here.
Yeah.
I mean, not that we can't go up here and do anything, but I stay clear of them. They do their thing and I do mine.
Yeah, Small Town Monsters did their one of their documentaries called The Ridge,
Yeah.
and I appeared in there here and
They
there.
don't let me in none of their videos.
Oh, really?
I've never been in any of them.
They don't know what
Seth
they're
don't
missing.
like me. Seth was told I'm a piece of shit.
Well, Seth needs to make up his own opinion.
So I don't really care. I mean, like
Yeah.
I said, I'm in 4 movies.
Yep.
I got the 3 years with Comcast. We got, I don't know, over almost 100 shows with them.
Mm-hmm.
And string theory before me and John got into it. I don't talk to him now.
Yeah.
So but I got enough. If I never go on another one, I don't care. Don't make no difference to me. I don't need it to say, well, yes, I'm Fred Saluga and I'm the king here. And if you want to listen to what I say, you'll listen and shut up. And this is the way it's going to be. And most TV shows you go on, they tell you what to say.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to.
Yeah, they really had to. Yeah, they bent over backwards. They did everything because whenever Small Town Monsters asked me, I said no, not interested, and they went after me really hard, to try to talk me into getting on, and I put down a couple conditions, and they met them, and so I'm fine.
Well, see what happened. When Seth first started Small Town Monsters, we was not Beaver Creek, down at Creature Weekend down at Salford.
Yeah.
And they was doing the thing down with Mothman down in West Virginia. That's how they started. And I just happened to be sitting there, and they were talking. They says, well, we'll go down in West Virginia. And I spoke up. I said, if you need anything from me, I said, I'm down in West Virginia. I'm state director for MUFON down here. Let me know. And then certain person I mentioned earlier said I was a piece of shit. Don't trust me. And never, like me and Brian are like brothers.
Yeah.
Brian's in all of them. Steph won't even talk to me, which I don't really care. I mean, it kind of pisses me off, but again, I don't really care. I mean, if that's what you want to do, you do it. It's your show, and you run it the way you want to run it.
Mm-hmm.
But
yep. Yeah, I don't know. You can listen to some people, but then at some point in time, you have to make up your own mind and actually talk to the person.
Yeah.
And
well, it's like the first book I wrote, the one I wrote by myself.
Mm-hmm.
One of the people goes in Small Town Monster. He went into Amazon, gave me a 0, said we stole everything out of everybody else's books and put in there. I mean, he cut me down to smithereens.
Wow.
I mean, the guy never even read the book. He bought a book so he could just put that in there. And we protested with Amazon. Amazon took it right out of there. They said, this is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I mean, this is what we deal with in this field. I mean, that's a shame. I mean,
yeah, unfortunately, it is. It's a lot of backstabbing, people using you to move up.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no idea what they want to move up into because I couldn't care less. But even so, people, they walk away.
But that's what they want. See, everybody wants to be top dog. And everybody can't be top dog.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like you got people, a lot of people that have the conferences. They talk at every one of them.
Yeah.
You see me talking to any of them? I think maybe every 4 years I'll talk somewhere. If somebody don't show up, I'll talk.
Right.
I'm not there to talk. Let somebody else talk. But people don't feel that way. I mean, oh my God, it's my thing, so I got to talk. I mean,
Okay. And what do you think the government knows
Yeah.
about Bigfoot?
What do I want?
What do you think the government knows about Bigfoot and cryptids and so on?
I think the government actually, I think Bigfoot's a shapeshifter. And I think Bigfoot can actually turn into us. And I think Bigfoot actually works for the government. And I think, again, when he goes home or he goes out, he turns back into Bigfoot. We always see Bigfoot going into the woods. We never see Bigfoot coming out of the woods. And I think a lot of the cryptids, I think the government knows what they are. And government knows it. Government, they can pick a license plate and tell you what's on a license plate at 50 miles up.
Yeah.
They got to know what the hell this stuff is.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that, again, Bigfoot has a lot to do with logging in that. They don't want to even get involved in that. I mean, so the FBI investigated Bigfoot. They didn't find nothing. And then you got like say you send hair to somebody. What do they compare it to? It's unknown hair. I mean, that's all. So you go all over the United States. We should get all the hair that's being sent in and analyzed and say, oh, yeah, this is the same hair as that. But we don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got their own hair place. You understand what I'm saying? So here we go again. I mean, we want to be the top dog. We want to be the ones, we can't have you come into our environment.
Yeah. Unless the government knows already and the government already has hair samples.
They do. I believe they do.
Yeah.
And I believe the government knows. I mean, again, who runs the government?
Yeah, in reality, yeah.
I mean, they say, like Trump's the president. Trump ain't nothing. There's people over Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, and who are they? Can they be aliens? I mean, like aliens. Okay, so are there aliens here on Earth? Of course there are. They've been here before we were. Okay, so but again, we don't know. We have no idea. They keep all this stuff from us. And this is what's really interesting. When you start reading stuff and oh my God, they're saying that. Let me look at, like, say, Kecksburg. Oh, that's here we go, standing word. Kecksburg. All right.
Oh, yeah.
So I had a UFO report called in on Kecksburg. And I called the guy up and I said, well, Kecksburg's been investigated 57,000 times. And, something fell, but that's it. That's all we know. He said, Fred, I remember when you was a cop. He says, I remember you sitting there drinking beer and saying, oh, God damn it. This happened here and this happened here. That's what we talk about. He said, Fred, I used to see you watch you. You go out and investigate something. You come back and say, like, nah, I can't. Nah, that's going to go. So I want you to investigate it. Investigate Kecksburg like you investigate a crime. Everything Stan Gordon said is a lie.
Okay.
Murphy, where he says Murphy, they come up and took his pictures and that. He was never in the woods. We can prove that beyond a reasonable doubt. Everything Stan said was a lie. Something crashed there. It was a damn Russian satellite because the government lied and said that it was better for them to say it was a UFO because they had to give it back to Russia if they didn't say that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, he got his reputation on that. So
you'll have to write a book on Kecksburg, on the Kecksburg
UFO. I'm starting on it now.
Oh, see that, guys?
About 2 years ago, I gave a presentation on Kecksburg up at Butler.
Yep, I remember. I was there.
Yeah, and Stan, I tell you what, he was dancing. I never seen him dance so much in my life. I mean, I respect Stan, but I mean, they want me to do an investigation. I'm gonna do an investigation. I'm not gonna lie about it.
Yeah.
And what comes out of it comes out of it. So I don't know. Better days are coming.
I agree. They are.
It would be written, so it would be done.
Yes, Pharaoh.
Get my thing there and hit it on the ground one time and change it into a snake.
Yes.
But again, I mean, Mary, you look back then. Okay, they had gods, snake gods, and that. I mean, the gods back in the day. What were they? They were aliens.
Yeah. They
Okay,
had to have been, yeah.
Good. So they've been there. They're here. They who knows? We might have aliens in the government as the vice president. Now Biden. Now I don't think they would be there now. It would have to be one of the real old ones. Maybe Adam.
Yeah.
Adam and Eve. Like, okay, Bigfoot, Adam and Eve. All right. The Mormon church said that Cain was Bigfoot. When he killed Abel, God made him look like Bigfoot for the rest of the world to see for eternity. They changed it in the church now, but that's what it used to be,
Oh.
which is really interesting.
That is. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, it very well could be. You know, that
And how many times has the world been destroyed? We don't know.
yeah, we don't know.
And we'll never know.
There's remains of ancient, beyond ancient cities.
They were saying the other day, I was reading about the island that went down, Atlantis.
Yeah.
I mean, was it really in Atlantis? I mean, they had the, they could do this and that. The moon, is the moon real?
Yeah.
Or was it moved in here? Okay, and that's another interesting question. Okay, then you got Mars and Venus. Okay, now you got the super soldiers going to Mars, they say. And how they get there? They just go up. Can they do that? Okay.
And what's on the dark side of the moon?
Yeah. I mean, they tell us what they want us to know. They keep us stupid.
Yeah.
And most people want to be stupid. Oh, I don't want to know nothing about that.
Yeah.
And people that want to know, how many UFO investigators or people involved in UFOs been killed in the last 50 years or committed suicide? Quite a bit. And like I always said, if I ever die, I want, what's his name out of Pittsburgh? Used to be the coroner.
Oh, Cyril Wecht.
Yeah, I think he's dead now. I think he died.
I think he is. He'd be 100 years old by now.
I wanted him to do my autopsy because I knew Cyril. Cyril used to teach classes at the academy down there in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
We used to take come down to Pittsburgh to go to school down there from Fayette County. But again, like I would say, if anybody says I killed myself, that's a lie. I'll never do that. But, you never know. I might find out something tonight. The next day, they can't have me because if I open my mouth, there's going to be a problem. So I'm going. And, people don't understand that either.
Yeah, so. There's a lot of people who have supposedly committed suicide and by stabbing themselves repeatedly or shooting themselves repeatedly in the back of the head.
Oh, yeah. But people believe it.
Yeah.
People believe it. I mean, have you ever investigated Bigfoot reports? No, never down there. We've been staying up here in the northern panhandle for now. We're going to start going all over the state here probably next year or year after, if I'm still in it. So.
Yeah, now, is Les Odell, is he still investigating?
Yeah, Les does most of that down in that area.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah. And then they got the two Bigfoot guys down there to do it. There are two Bigfoot researchers down there. They do it. Okay. Yeah, nobody really comes up around our area, and we don't go down around our area.
Yeah.
Les works with us quite a bit.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he gave a presentation at the Bigfoot meeting 2 meetings ago. And he's heavy with small town monsters.
Okay.
I guess he's making a video right now with them.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
Les is a good guy. I like Les.
Yeah, he is. He's a good old boy.
Yeah, he is.
And he don't give nobody no shit. He goes about his own business.
Yep.
And he takes his kids everywhere. good family man. He was at Bill's thing. He actually ran Bill's table
Oh, did he? Okay.
while Bill was out gallivanting. Another day in paradise.
I know. Well, you talk about all the festivals here in Western Pennsylvania, and I hear from so many people in Eastern Pennsylvania, saying, why don't you hold something out there? And I say, well, it's up to you to approach your people, your visitors, whatever, I can't remember what department that you approach, or else your local fire departments.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, but see, again, you got to get speakers.
yeah.
And are you going to charge? I mean,
Yeah.
so if somebody speaks now, they want $100.
Yeah.
So we're going to have say we have something in Scranton. We're going to need $700 just get it off the ground. What are we going to charge? I mean, so that's people don't understand what goes into all of this.
Yeah, you have to have money in order to fund something like that, unfortunately. And, like me, they say, well, there are a couple places in Eastern PA that I will be speaking at later in the summer. But the thing is, it costs money, heck of a lot of money for me to travel out there, and for a place for me to stay or even camp. Camping, it's getting expensive.
But see, people don't understand that.
No, they don't.
And I mean, like I say, we get people. Okay, but like, what's his name? Come from Virginia. He said he would come up. We didn't. We said, if you want to come up, come up. You want to come up, we'll put you in. We can't pay you. I mean, that's because we ain't making no money out of ourselves.
Right.
And people don't understand that. Now, if you got vendors, they can bring the money to the fire department, and food and that. But then they got to be involved in it.
Yeah.
They want it, but they don't want to get involved.
Right.
And that's the problem with that. See, that's the problem we have with Morrell. Morrell Fire Department, we had our best damn stuff there. I mean, we made money there every time we went.
Yeah.
We had it during Corona, or I call it the Corona. You guys call it COVID-12 or whatever, 14 or 16, whatever. And we had it when they said, no, you didn't do it. We said, we're doing it anyhow. We had a full house.
Yeah.
And the state police was riding up and down the road. And I talked to a couple of them. And they said, we wanted to come in there so damn bad, but we know if we did, we get in trouble. Because they were supposed to come down and shut us down.
Huh.
And the sheriff in Fayette County said, no, they're not. If any cops come in there, because he's the head guy, he's the head law enforcement officer in the county. Anybody gives you any shit, you call me and I'll be right there. But again, I mean, so now Morrell, they come to the point where they don't want to do nothing. They want us to do everything. They want us to do 50-50. They want us to sell the food. No, we ain't doing it, man. You're making all the money. You can make hot dogs and hamburgers. You can do 50-50s. I mean, why do we got to do it? We're giving you the speakers. We're doing this. We're doing that. And we can't do it all. So
Right. This is to help them. To help the fire department. They need funded, and we understand that. We just. But they need to do something also.
Yeah. But you came down. Didn't you speak down at
Morrell?
Greene County.
Greene County. Yes.
Jefferson.
Yes, I did.
We first had the first one.
Jefferson. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember how many people we had down there? You couldn't even move.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, last year, not one vendor. Not one.
Oh.
And it was everybody was having something that week.
Yeah.
And and so they went there. They didn't come here.
Yeah.
So we didn't have nobody there. I mean, I think we had like 5 or 6 people show up.
Oh, wow.
And all the stuff we put a lot into it.
Yeah.
I had a hotel room. That's when I just got out of the hospital. I was carrying tanks of oxygen with me.
I remember that.
The fire department had to give me a tank because I ran out of oxygen.
Yeah.
And, and but people don't look at that. They think, well, yeah, you got to do it. There's a lot to it. I mean, you know, and nobody wants to help. Like our group, there's only 3 of us that do anything.
Oh,
Me, Sarah, and Bob.
yep.
Us 3. Nobody else does nothing. I mean, they may come and help them sell cookies and shit later on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we need people to do this. We need people to do that. You know, and Bob, he's saying now, like, the hell with it. I'm getting tired of it.
Oh, wow.
You know, and then I'm driving, like I say, 2 hours to go there, 100 miles each way, 200 miles to go to a meeting.
Right.
You know, so I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's hard, and yeah, you just need people to commit. You know, okay, they want to wear the T-shirt, but we also want you to, you know, put a little bit of effort into this also.
Well, they ain't going to do that.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anybody else got any questions?
Yeah, let me scroll back and see if there's anything. Yeah, we got a lot of people agreeing, you know, about the expense
Yeah.
of going places, you know, festivals and so on, you know, and it is. Okay, here, Todd. Yeah, volunteer fire departments suffer with same thing, same small group of people. Yeah, the older ones that do all the work. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. You know, it's you find that everywhere. You know, the first time they do it, all the young guys are into it. Then the second time you do it, they tell the older guys to go ahead and do it. They don't want to get involved in it no more.
Yeah.
You know, they like to come with their girlfriends and, you know, they wear their fire gear and shit. I'll tell you something you don't know. Chapter 13 in the Fireman's Manual. You know what that concerns? UFOs. Fireman's
Really?
Manual actually got one whole chapter on UFOs. Yep.
And what on
You know how
how
much money
to,
I made on that? Betting. I tell a fireman, like, what the talking about UFOs, man? You got a UFO in your damn book. Your big manual, the manual you're supposed to read. Chapter 13. And talking about that down in Greene County, I was saying that down there, and them guys were saying bullshit. And one of the guys down there said, he's not bullshitting. It's there. You should read the book. You'd see it. Yeah, there's a whole chapter on UFOs in there. So everybody listening now, does Fred have any stories about Fayette County? I'd rather not talk about them right now. It's getting late. 10 o'clock. My bedtime.
we'll save it for another show.
Yeah, we'll do that for another time.
Yeah. Yep.
We've been going now since 7:30, and it's 2.5 hours now.
Yeah, it's after 9. It's 9:45.
Yeah.
But no, I want to thank you, Fred, for coming. And
any way I can help you, Mary, you know I will. You
same
know?
here. Same here. Anything. But no, I do appreciate it. We'll get you back on. And I just today I scheduled Brian. He'll be on in June, so that'll be fun.
Brian's cool.
He is.
He's a little bit different than me.
Yes.
That's why we get along, you know. and again, I'll tell you another one. You don't get along with him. You and him, I don't know what you was arguing about with Bill. Bill's all right too, but he's different than us. He got his own way of thinking. But again, you know, I think you guys should talk. I really do. So, and I'll let it go with that.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to take off. Peace be with you.
All right. God bless you,
Where can
Fred.
you get a hold of me?
Thank you, guys. Take care. All right. Everyone, I want to thank you for coming on here. And it's been a great chat. Fantastic. And I know that there were a few questions here and there that I missed, and I do apologize. And we'll get Fred on again. I guarantee you. Todd, yeah, who reads manuals? That's true. Okay, you were a fireman and you had no idea. Well, there you go. There you go. Take out your manual if you still have it. Any good shows after this? Well, let me see. Let me do a quick. I know next week. Hold on a second. Let me go into my schedule because next week our guest will be Andy Nunez. He's from Maryland. He has written a series of 8 or 9 books on the mysteries of the Eastern Shore of Maryland. And each book that he has, one is about the ghosts of the Eastern Shores, pirates, mysteries, all kinds of different things that have been going on in that area of Maryland. He's a fascinating guy. I've known him for, goodness, over 20 years. And so I think that conversation it'll be a little bit of a mixture also. And it should be fun. Let's see. And then May 14 is, let's see, Matt Nightmare. He's a gentleman that he's been on the chat a few times. I didn't see him this evening, but he's got a YouTube channel. And I've skimmed over his channel and looks interesting. He's going to have quite a bit to talk about also. May 21st, I don't have anyone scheduled yet. So we'll see. Oh, sorry, Sinead, I stepped on her tail. May 28th, ooh, Miss Vicky. And if you don't know Miss Vicky, then you need to know Miss Vicky. Miss Vicky runs, she does the Muddy Waters podcast, Muddy Creek podcast, I can't remember. She's a good friend, very good friend. She is a Bigfoot investigator. She is also retired law enforcement. And I think that everyone will find her very interesting. Beautiful lady. I love Miss Vicky. And let's see, June 4th, I don't have anyone. June 11th, nothing. June, let me see, when do I have Brian? Okay, Brian Seach is June 25th. I have Brian Seach scheduled for June 25th. So we can fill up the rest of these dates at any point in time. And I'll get people in. Oh, thank you, Pat. Muddy Creek podcast. Yeah. Miss V, she's a lovely lady, gorgeous lady. Okay, Todd, yeah, we'll get you back on. We'll schedule you for one of those evenings so we can go over what's been going on in our research area. There's a heck of a lot of stuff that has been going on in our research area in the Allegheny National Forest. So I'll leave it whenever Todd gets on. And so Todd, we'll get you scheduled for, let's see, maybe May 21st, there'll be a heck of a lot more going on, I think, by then. But maybe we can schedule you for May 21st. Yeah, thanks. Yes, Ken, I agree. I can't wait either. We have so many good people coming on, and I really can't wait. And I know next week, Andy, I have a feeling that the guys on, heck, Jeff Yarrington, if you're still in here, what the heck is the name of their podcast? I'm blanking out because I'm really tired. But I have a feeling that they'll schedule Andy also, because they're based in Maryland. So I'm sure that they'll have a lot of questions. Thank you. Old line cryptids. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. I know. I'm having a senior moment. Not only senior moment, but an extremely tired moment. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Okay, Todd, I'll get you scheduled in on the 21st. I will do that right now as we speak. All right. Okay. May 21st. We got Bigfoot New York Todd. And everyone, I want you to make sure, for Fred Saluga, go on Amazon and just type in his name, Fred Saluga, and it'll bring up his 2 books. And make sure, you buy his books. Buy them both. They're fascinating. Fred is, as you see, Fred is a fascinating gentleman. And I love Fred. I've known him for years. And we'll get him back on again, so that he can, finish the rest of his stories, because, he's been doing this for, he's been doing this for 50 years, over 50 years, straight on. Me, I had experiences over 50 years ago, but I haven't been doing this for 50 years. So I'm still just a novice compared to Fred. I have tons of respect for Fred and what he does and the way that he approaches this. He keeps me, me and probably a bunch of other researchers straight, with our attitude. Okay, you cannot jump to assumptions. Whenever you investigate, that, Bigfoot crapped in the woods, and this pile of crap is, it's Bigfoot, or this dead deer, and it may show evidence that it was a Bigfoot kill, but did Bigfoot kill it? We don't know. It's all speculation. And so, you have to approach it, the entire line of your investigations, your research, from that point of view, that everything is not Bigfoot. You have to run down the line. What else could have done it? What else could cause it? And exactly, Pat, you stick with the evidence and the facts. Everything else is a data point. It's a possibility, but we don't know. Yeah, absolutely, Michael. I don't think I've ever read a report of someone seeing a Bigfoot dropping a deuce. Exactly. You just have to approach it, from that point of view. It's a data point. But we don't know. We don't know 100%. Okay, guys, it's almost 10 o'clock. I am exhausted. And Todd. Yes, it's a good thing they don't throw their poop like monkeys at the zoo. Yes, absolutely. I agree. I don't think I'd want that. I don't want to experience that. I truly don't. It's so good to see everyone here. I am so happy that you all showed up, and it's been a fascinating evening. You all had great questions, and I do appreciate that. And again, we'll get Fred back, and it's been a fantastic evening. I appreciate, and I think I'm going to end it right here. So y'all have a great evening. Have a great rest of the week. Hunker down from whatever storms are still going through. I know there's still parts of Pittsburgh, about 40 miles south of me, as well as other areas still without power. And and I know Patty, if she's still on here, her daughter had just spent over $500 that same day buying groceries, and now she's without power. So Patty and her husband took a generator down. Ken, okay, how's my sister? My sister is doing fantastic for what happened. She's recovering. She's still taking therapy, physical therapy and occupational therapy. She is, I think, so far ahead of what we were expecting her condition to be. And we are thankful for God, for his blessings. I think last week she made dinner for her husband twice. And what else did she do? She did the laundry. She is such a, I call her OCD, about her laundry, that, everything has, as soon as that buzzer sounds on that dryer, she always used to jump up and take the laundry out immediately and fold it, because otherwise it'll get all wrinkled and everything. And she would freak out at me not jumping up and getting the laundry out at the at the sound of the buzzer. But I hope that this has taught her to slow down, give herself a break, relax more. Okay, Patty, you're almost home. Just be careful. Just be careful. Pat, yeah, she's, like I said, we're grateful to God for his blessings. And, but keep her in your prayers yet. Todd, the dryer's where you store your clean clothes. Well, At least mine go from the dryer to the basket. They make it that far. And then the day that I need to do my laundry again is whenever the clothes go into the drawer or the closet, because I need the basket for the dirty clothes. I just don't, I don't push myself anymore. I don't. Life has taught me to relax and take breaks whenever I can. I don't push myself anymore. And anymore I can't. I cannot push myself anymore because God has taught me that, and He's done it very forcefully, that I have to slow down and I have to back off. And so I have. And so what I do now, unfortunately, I'm not able to, get out in the woods anymore. And so here I am. If you can't get out in the woods, then you do a podcast. And so I do a podcast. Yeah, exactly. You push yourself so far, God will teach you a lesson. If you don't listen to Him, He'll show you, and He will show you in a big time way. Ken, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Please continue the prayers. And thank you, Todd. I appreciate it. But, here it is. It's after 10. And while I can continue to jabber on, I'm exhausted. Thank you, Blackie. I appreciate you coming on. So, okay, everyone. Have a great evening. Have a great week. Be careful on your travels and hunker down. Love you too. And we'll see you. I'll jump into some of the other podcasts and say hi whenever I can. Thank you, Art. I appreciate you jumping in. And everyone else, thank you. I do appreciate each and every single one of you who are still here. And we'll see you next week on the next Over the Hump Day. All right. All right. Thank you. God bless. And Monkey Wench out.